Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part, we are learning about creating a simple exploratory analysis dashboard in Power BI that will help us in understanding distribution of marks of different subjects and how these marks are affecting whether the student is passed or failed, whether the student is placed or not. So on the basis of marks of Excel, machine learning, Python, SQL, and distribution of marks, uh, in case of Tableau. So let me correct the. So this is distribution of Tableau marks, etc. So on the basis of these different marks, how many of them were able to pass, how many of them were able to obviously did not get placement, etc., is something that we are going to discuss in this project. And meaning of different type of bar charts like clustered bar, stacked bar, 100% stacked bar, you know, everything that is here, we will learn that. So let's get started. So the data set that we are using in this project is this student scores data set that is available on Kaggle. Dataset gives scores of students for Python, SQL, ML, etc. Related subjects, and on the basis of that, whether the student was placed or not. This is the target field. So these are the numerical features that we have. So this type of dataset can be used for logistic regression or classification type of task, and here you can simply find out what are the minimum scores in each subject for a student to get placed, so for example, in ML, if this particular student has got 100% marks, but in Tableau only 23% and Python only 31%, so overall this student is not placed. So what is the criteria? So like which subject is more important, this type of thing can be analyzed from the data. So let's get started with that. So we will quickly open Power BI. From here, click on Get Data in Power BI Desktop, and we will upload the file where we have our data, and then you can see it has been uploaded and we have the information. Now we can load this. So we have the table name as a scores. Click on text. So here you have text inside the home tab. It is also there in insert tab. From here you can click on text, and then you can resize the text by clicking over it. Select the text, align it to center, click on bold, and increase the font size. So this is what we have, like a student programming test score and placement analysis, or EDA, whatever you want to call it. You can select some kind of font color for it. So I'm just going with this font color, or I prefer this way. So a little bit light. Yeah, this is good. Now main thing is to analyze for each subject what is the overall score, like whether the student is placed or not, right? So first of all, we will create some cards here, and these cards will give us information of their average scores in each programming language. Okay, so we will prepare some cards over here, and in this card we will begin with Excel. So what is their average score in Excel? 47%. Now because these numbers are in percentage, so you can see from 0 to maximum value will be 0.99 or 1, right? So we can also go to table view. So this is the report view, this is the table view where you will see the different columns of the tables, and from here you can change their data type or display type. So display the values in percentage. Similarly in SQL, in machine learning, in Tableau, and in Excel. And when you will do this, So you will see 47.50% is the average score of Excel. We will go to format visual. Call out value we can reduce to 40 because we have to display 4 or 5 of them here. Color we will choose this is the display color, and our category label color we will choose like this, and we can make it bold or increase its font size. This is average of Excel. That means what is the average test score of Excel. Okay, so here we will just reduce it, right? We will go to general tab once again, effects, shadow and visual border. We will select the visual border like this. So this will give us our first KPI. Now here also we have to provide a border or a shadow. That is optional, but if you will provide that, it will look kind of better, right? Stand out. So we will just open like this. Now after Excel, we will drag it once more, like click on it and copy the visual, and then press Ctrl V to paste the visual. Now here we will just drag average of machine learning score. So what is average of machine learning here? So we will drag machine learning average. So in machine learning, students have scored 51.44%, which is better than in Excel. Then we have Python. So quickly we will copy all of them and we will just place them here. SQL, and this is 49.59%. So based on the data that we have, we can simply create these KPIs, which will help us in understanding how data is distributed. Similarly, you can create one for minimum values, you can create one for maximum values, and we will definitely see their distribution also. We will create one more copy and we will just add a student placed here, and we will just do count of them. So because now we can say we have data of around 200 students, and on the basis of their data we can see that distribution, we can see their average values, right? Now after providing average values here, I will just drag this entire thing like this. You see, layout and positioning is totally your choice, and here I will provide a filter. So we are going to provide a filter which we are using with a slicer. Okay, and in this slicer we will just add a student placed, whether student placed is yes or no. So first of all I will copy this, go to home tab, format painter and apply here. Okay, next thing I will go to format visual, slicer setting, show as a tile. So student placed yes or no. Okay, this will be the filter. So if the student is placed, then what is that value, then what is the average, and if students are not placed, then what is the average. So obviously it is not letting me increase the font size because space is less here, but still we are able to understand. So if a student is placed yes, you can see what is the average, and total number of students that are placed are 116. If a student is placed no, what is the average? 84 students are not placed, and you can see for most of them the average of percentage in all subjects is below 49 or 50 I will say, and in Python it is below 52 or around 52. So you can see, so for Python, even though these students have scored 52%, and this is according to data, maybe a synthetic data or something that we have got from Kaggle. So here you can see format of CSV according to this data, but mostly you will be able to create a interactive dashboard to see overall performance of students, and this is the most important thing here. Now we will see distribution of each of these different programming languages and subjects. So for that, and before that, we will simply cover overall distribution of how many of them have passed and how many of them have not. So for such cases, best and easy way is to display with the help of a donut chart or a pie chart. So in legend, we will add student pass, and in values, we will again add student pass and count of student passed. Okay. If you want, you can create a simple column, index column, but that is not needed here because we can use the same value, and this will make our you know this report will be faster. Now what we can do, we can first of all copy the formatting here so that we have borders. Then we will go here and click the you know leave the visualization here and go to detail labels, and value size we will reduce to 9. So you can see 116 and 84 is the ratio of passed versus uh, those students who could not pass. And I will simply go here in title, I will simply write passed versus failed student count. Okay, and we will write like this, increase its font size to 15 and align it in center. Now I will simply copy it, and now we have to see the distribution of each marks here. And to see the distribution, we can use any of these charts like stacked column chart or clustered bar chart. So first of all, to see distribution, we will create a new group. So in Excel or any continuous value where we have a range, to see the distribution, a better way is to create a new group. In this group, you can see it will create shorter groups of these numbers. For example, in Excel, minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 99%. So for 200 students, around 200 bins will be created, right? And we can reduce the number of bins to 10 or 20. So it will be like, if we reduce number of bins to 10, bin size will be 0.099. If we reduce it to 15, bin size will be 0.066, right? It totally depends. If we reduce it to 20, 0.04. So we will go with 10 bins, 10 or 15 number of bins. When this chart will be created, you will understand. So this Excel bins, first of all, we will change it to stacked column chart, and we will create Excel bins. Okay. So now you can see for 0%, for 9%, for 19%. So it is like 0. It is approximately adding 10 every time. So this is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and so on. So this is passed versus failed student count in each group, right? So this is 0%, 20%, around 40%, 60%. So how many students have got these marks? It tells us this information. And here we have data labels which we can enable to see that number as well. So, and this data is distribution of Excel marks. Okay, so this shows distribution of Excel marks. So this way you can understand how Excel marks are distributed. Like 12 students have got marks past 89%, and around 24 students have got marks around 80%, 17.20. And Next thing that we can do in these charts, we have information of, we have a field called legend where we can put our target field, whether the student was passed or not, right? So we can put this target field, and this will show us distribution of data, like in every group how many students were able to pass the test. So for example, here you can see pass yes is more, pass yes is more. So in higher marks we can see pass yes is more. In some cases, like even in Excel, if you are at 0% score, then also students were able to pass, which tells us that sometimes for a student to pass, the weightage of each subject will be considered, and maybe weightage of Excel was not that more, because that's why students getting 0 marks have passed. Or the case is, even though they got 0 marks in Excel, they got higher marks in other subjects, right? And second, an important thing, this can be a simple synthetic data. In actual data you will see students having more marks have more chances of getting a pass status, right? So but this way you will be able to see for different subjects. Similarly, for machine learning we will create, so we will create a new group, and as we created 10 bins, so here also we are going to create 10 bins for machine learning, and I will simply copy this. So first of all I will fit them because their width, so that we can fit all of them easily. And for example, we want to see the exact width of this chart, so we will go to general tab. In property, width is 330, this width is 247, so let's do it 330, and here also it is 3, so let's do it 330. So now we have equal width and height of these charts, and here we will just remove this and write ML bins. Okay, so in case of machine learning you can see how the distribution is there. If you want to see these numbers, so anytime you can go and enable data labels, and you can go to data labels value, and color you can choose like this, so that you can see these numbers as well. So you can see 13 7, 14 9, 13 9. Here we can clearly see that obviously in case when a student scores more than 40%, you can see there are more students who have passed the test. So this is distribution of Excel, not Excel marks. This is distribution of ML marks. Okay, so this is how you can tell. Now this is one way. This is a stack chart. Here we are not only learning this, but we are also trying to understand what is the difference between stacked and clustered. So let's say here we keep stacked, and here we change it to clustered. So in case of clustered, you will see that for these two different categories, two different bars will be created. So that is the only difference here. And when you will enable data labels, you will be able to see those numbers. For example, here 7 passed, 7 failed. But if you score 80%, obviously you can see chances of getting passed are more, right? So over 80%. So half of the more than half of the students have passed the test. So this is distribution of Excel marks versus pass. This is distribution of ML marks. Okay. Now we will create another copy of it, and since we have more space, so we can increase their height also. Similarly, we will create another distribution, and that distribution will be for Python marks. So here we will create a new column, and sorry, I don't want to create a new column. I actually want to create a new group. Here also we will just go with number of bins, and select 10. So basically we are dividing the range 0 to 100 into 10 bins every time, right? Because for every group we are doing it as 10 bins so that we can understand how the data is distributed. And we have Power BI course tutorial for beginners on our Udemy. If you want, you can enroll in this course. If you want to start from scratch, you can see we have visualization and data connections related chapters, dashboard in Power BI beginners. So along with these 7 chapters, you will also get access to 100 more chapters on our YouTube. Then we have DAX in Power BI where we have 22 dedicated lectures which you from where you can understand data analysis expressions, and you can check out this course as well. Or we provide online classes, so you can enroll in those online classes as well. So now let's get back to our programming score analysis, and here we will simply put that. So obviously since we have more space, we can utilize that and increase its height. Okay, now this is distribution of ML marks. This is basically we will remove it with Python bins, and here we will just create a stack bar chart. So you can show the distribution in this way also, and here you can see that in Python also when students have scored around 80% marks, then ratio is 18:14. For more than 80, ratio is 14:8, right? So here surprisingly 18:7 is ratio. Seems like incorrect information, but this is also how you can show distribution either as a vertical bar or as a horizontal bar. Okay, in charts like this we can go to legend position and we can show it in bottom center. So now you can see because we have more area, so we can utilize that easily. There is one more thing. Since we have gone with the default theme, if you will go to view and let's say we want to select this theme, okay, or we want to select this theme, so you can select any of these themes and you will see automatically all the information will be changed. Okay, so if you want, you can go with this color combination or anything of your choice. Here also we can go to values, and in values we have background. So this is slicer background. So by default we can select something, right? And once something is highlighted, it will appear like that. So if you want to see distribution of placed students only, so this is how that distribution is, right? You can see their distribution for Excel, for machine learning, and this is Python. So every time we have to change the programming language or subject's name here. So this is distribution of Python marks. Let's quickly do it for SQL also. Here also we will go with number of bins because we are going with 10 bins in each case, so that we can easily compare all of them. And similarly here number of bins, 10 bins. We can write a simple DAX query also here, or a DAX expression to create these groups. But when we have this option, so we should utilize that. Now I want to show you usage of 2 more type of bar charts that can be used for distribution. Okay, so for example, in case of SQL bin, we will go with 100% stacked bar chart. This is just like this particular bar chart, but here you will see the value in percentage. Like here we are seeing the values in exact numbers. So let me show you. So we will keep SQL in x-axis. First of all, let's copy the same formatting. Okay, and then we will add on x-axis we will add number of students placed. Okay, so here we will right count. Actually we have to do, yeah, this is correct, count of student placed, and in legend we will again place this. Okay, so now when you will open, this will actually show you data in terms of percentage. You can see when a student has scored around 100%, 90 to 100%, so 63% of students have passed the test. Okay, in case of around 50% or more, 71%. So this will show you information in terms of percentage. So that's what we can see from here. So this is distribution of SQL marks, and pass versus fail, or whatever you want to write here. So here you can see the legend that we see here tells us what is the meaning of green and blue here or any other color. And similarly we have another chart, that is this chart, right? So here we will just add Tableau bins, just replace it, and now we will be able to see the same condition for Tableau. In Tableau also you can see 66.67% of a student pass when they score more than 80%, and you can see it is more than 50% consistently, or if you have scored more than I will say more than 30% marks, right? So this is important here, and this in combination will tell you how data is distributed. And the main target field has two classes. One is passed, yes or no, and in this type of classification, binary classification, you can do exploratory analysis and see if different marks ranges have some kind of effect on overall, passing probability. And if any subject has that, then you will be using that in the machine learning model. So in part 2, after analyzing this data, in the second part we will use logistic regression to create a machine learning model where we will provide marks, like we will say student has got 52% marks in Excel, 63% marks in ML, 70% marks in this, and what is the probability, will the student pass or fail. So we will do all of that in the second part. For the first part, please revise this much, and if you have any problem in creating a simple dashboard like this, so you can always uh, ask us in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video. Have a nice day.